Today's video is sponsored by Picker's Grip. Stop dropped picks and pick rotation while playing with Picker's Grip. Made with all natural ingredients in Virginia. Check out their website to order. When you support my sponsor, this also supports my channel, and it's very much appreciated. Hey, what's up? How are you? Thanks for joining me here today. Let's respond to some comments here today, shall we? And also, it's time for another edition of
Know Your Troll.
Know Your Troll. If you're new to this channel or you are new to this video series, this is a video series where I take some time and respond to various different comments left by you, my wonderful viewers here on this channel recently, as well as we take an opportunity and we recognize and shine a much needed light on the lower 50 percentile of human intelligence. I would first like to iterate that not all of the comments that I respond to here in this video are actually troll comments. Some of these are actually legitimate comments and questions from actual legitimate viewers. So let's get to it. We got a lot of comments to get to here today. Alan Scherer, longtime viewer, commented on the Elton John cover video that I did here recently. I would first like to mention Alan is not a troll. I happen to like Alan quite a bit. Alan is one of my oldest and biggest supporters of this channel. My Boss Wazacraft MT2W Metal Zone, my beloved Wazacraft Metal Zone distortion that I've used and talked about and all kinds of stuff on this channel, was actually a gift from Alan. So, Alan's a good dude. And he says, and for a second, I really thought you were going to sing I Put My Dogs Outside Just in Case. That probably would have been a wise decision had I decided to actually attempt to sing. Fortunately, I know more than anybody that, you know, what I sound like. Me singing, imagine like a great big, you know, like a oversized pillowcase or something, you know, and you fill it full of like live cats, and then take it and then swing it up against a brick wall, you know, several times, real hard. That's about what I sound like when I sing. Al Stasco says, please show videos of your playing. You have big ego, so please let's see your fantastic playing. I don't know what I may have said that you know, that may have come across as egotistical, but there are plenty of videos. While there are plenty of videos on my channel of me playing guitar, matter of fact, most of my videos feature me playing guitar in some form of fashion or another. The last thing I have ever claimed to be was a great guitar player, and anybody who has watched this channel for any length of time can tell you that. Big Cole commented on the 10S EXP Blaze video, says, well, Robert, I bought one. Thank you for your videos. I got a hell of a price. Thank you so much for you know, for checking out the video there, Big Cole, and thank you also for ordering a 10S guitar based on my video. That's very flattering. I went ahead and passed that information along to 10S just to make sure that their efforts did not go unnoticed, and you know, it's I think it's a fantastic guitar, especially for the price. I think you'll enjoy it. So thanks for sharing that with us. AW says, totally disagree on the Blackstar ID Core. I do have the smallest ID Core 10 as a little bedroom amp and impressed with the sound. Been collecting amps and guitars since 2005. It's a hobby for me, so I do know what good tone is. And yes, I have Tube Marshalls and Vox and a few of those high-end Blackstar amps you were talking about. As a matter of fact, I just added a $1,300 Supro amp to my collection. Why people actually value your opinion is beyond me. What is clear to me is your only intent is to make money off your subscribers with all of the commercials embedded into your videos. Well, let me address the ads first. YouTube recently placed a new, recently upgraded their advertising policy, and in doing so, whereas it used to be they would run mid-roll ads on videos longer than 10 minutes, they have since changed that policy to videos videos that run at least 8 minutes or more. And not only that, but any video that is on YouTube that is on a monetized channel that is at least 8 minutes long, YouTube went and added a bunch of mid-roll ads onto every single one of their videos, whether we creators like it or not. And you know, in my case, when I've got 300 plus videos that fit that description, it's a very, very, very time-consuming process to go in and clean all that up. So as far as the mid-roll ads go, you're barking at the wrong guy. As far as why people value my opinion, I assume it's because I have worked in the guitar and musical instrument industry for a long time and had a very, very successful career in doing so. And not only that, but I've also been playing guitar and collecting amplifiers and collecting guitars and pedals and all that stuff since long before 2005, which you say is when you started. Alan Velasquez says, worst video ever. You should have filmed above the little dick and beer gut. Gross. You ever seen Paul Gilbert make any amp sound great? You, sir, are no Pale Gilbert. You convulsive tremors while laughing are quite disturbing. Convulsive tremors. Dude, this is a guitar channel. If you're coming to this channel looking for eye candy, I mean, this right here ought to have already been your first clue. As soon as you clicked on the thumbnail, you dumbass. And by the way, there's also that little psychological thing that, when you throw out needless insults about people's appearance, that usually means a case of, we'll call it small dick syndrome. Chance McFadden says, 40 years ago, I sold literally hundreds of Gorilla amps and never had a complaint from a customer or a broken one. And the Johnson amps are still part of my arsenal. I have 2 Millenniums and they work flawlessly. The Univoxes do suck, but what you do have to realize is you just may be an amp bigot. Your ears do not set the standards, and just because you are making YouTube money and want to grab some shock factor funds doesn't mean you are an expert. I was doing this buying, selling, and trading amps long before you were born. Take any amp for what it is and not what you want it to be, and my perfect eBay feedback says it all, kids. www.fortmadisonguitars.com criticizes me for making shock money on YouTube, and in the exact same comment plugs his own eBay store. Douchebag. Charles Whitney says, okay, why are you so effing fat, brother? So, because I like to eat right. Cheesies says, F you, you bald fat bastard. F you, bald bastard. 2 of the same comment back to back on the exact same video. That's somebody with a lot of time on their hands. Claudio Rockhead says, what's wrong with this dude? Arrogant asshole. How did I get here anyway? Don't people know not to come to this channel looking for validation of their own gear purchases by now? Contraband Joe says, hey, armchair quaterback. With your Marshall tube amps and or boutique tube amps, how many gold or platinum albums you have to your credit? How many sold out tours? How many Grammys you won? You're just another hack playing the same covers in the same clubs with the same highbrow attitude with 0 credentials. Tell us more about bad amps. Well, if you want to really want to know my resume, I suggest you watch more videos on this channel, because it's pretty clear what I do for a living and what I have done for a living for the last 15 years or so. As far as playing cover gigs, well, fortunately my YouTube channel actually keeps me pretty busy, and I actually make more money doing this than I ever did playing in cover bands. So I don't really play out too often anymore because of my commitment to my YouTube channel. And as far as Grammys and sold out tours and all that kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure you don't have to have any of that stuff on your resume to be able to tell if an amp sounds good or not. Contraband Joe, by the way, got so bent out of shape that this turned into a real long thread, and I actually got to the point that I actually had to block the dude. So hopefully he sees this, because now he can't comment. Dave61 says, maybe you should get a fellow guitarist to play the demos. Well, Dave61, once again, I have said many things on my channel, but one thing I have never claimed to be is a great guitar player. I got a Facebook message from a viewer named Dean Bibb, who took it upon himself to take a few screenshots from my worst amps video and, and created a meme out of it. And this is what he created. This is funny because I started seeing it in guitar groups all over the place for like the next week or two. Oh, thank you, Dean. I thought that was hilarious. Contraband Joe is back. Says, can you make a video about how not to dress in clothing that is 3 sizes too small for you? Pillsbury needs their doughboy back. Remember what I said earlier, but to somebody else about needless comments about my weight, my hairline, and various other aspects of my appearance and all that kind of stuff. It really doesn't bother me. I'm pretty numb to it, from YouTube trolls at this point. But I do think it is worth publicly pointing out yet another case of small penis syndrome. Dave61 is back. Decided to comment on the worst solid state amps ever video. But you have no sound examples. You really expect me to go spend a bunch of my own money on a pile of amps that I hate? Tell you what, you go spend your own money on a bunch of amps that you hate, and then we'll have this conversation. Fred Herbert says, if you were into doom metal, you'd understand the circuit. Which I think was actually on the R-Attack, the Little Bear R-Attack demo, which I had nothing but positive things to say about that pedal. But as far as doom metal goes, I mean that's literally like 2, maybe 3 chords at like 4 beats per minute for droning on for like ever. I mean that's doom metal. I don't understand what that has to do with the circuit of a Rat pedal, but it's pretty cute that you're trying to make that relevant. Speaking of cute, this one's from Ava Sanders. Don't get too many female trolls these days. This whole video reeks of nonsense. Most of the issues mentioned are readily fixable and often exist on high-end guitars too. You just have to know about guitars. The other complaints were based on conjecture. You knew little to nothing about the thing you were complaining about. Complete BS. 6 out of 8 of these guitars I would play, including the VW guitar. I can see why you don't work in a music store anymore, and this come from a musician of more than 40 years. Well, Ava, in 40 years, I'm quite sure you've probably run across a few guitars that you didn't like. You just didn't put them on a list and put them on a YouTube video. By the way, this thread you actually went on to call me defensive, and instead, all of a sudden, you didn't like my video and you decided to take a shot at how good I may or may not be at my full-time job, which, by the way, I'm actually pretty good at it. This one's from GoobTuber, another loyal viewer, and a guy questions on or comments on just about every single video. Says, Mortar Roberts, sounds rat-tacular. Who knows, in another 10 years you might start to like fuzz. Not likely. Jerome Lenovo says, pretty sure that back then you were one of those who used to shit on Asian products like Boss and rooting for the real tube Chandler Butler overdrive. But hey, things change and you gotta do what people want, right? Right. Well, Jerome, I'm quite sure that you have me confused with somebody else because I own, I don't know, what, 30, 40 Boss pedals or something like that. I've used Boss pedals on my channel numerous times, and furthermore, if there's anybody that has proven over and over and over on their YouTube channel that import gear is, can perform just as well as domestic gear, it's been this guy. I have never been, been anything but an advocate for import gear. So while I appreciate that, that less than stellar vote of confidence there, Jerome, you might want to lay off the crack pipe and go send that comment to whoever it was that you actually need to send it to. Usually on the day that I have a new video go up on my channel, oftentimes I will share that video in various Facebook groups just to, spread it around a little bit more and, make sure that some people who might have an interest that might not see it on YouTube might have an opportunity. Helps them, helps me gain a few extra views. I'm not going to pretend like that's not what I'm after. But I only share my videos in those groups whose rules allow me to do so. One of those groups is a group called Pedalbirds of Durham. And Pedalbirds of Durham spawned from a bunch of other people, basically just a bunch of smartasses, but a bunch of great guys nonetheless, that all got kicked out of another group on Facebook with a very similar name. So I believe it was the Digitech Screamin' Blues video that I shared in that group here recently. As that group, members in that group do seem to enjoy my videos sometimes. And Justin Stagger Myers decided to leave this gem on that video. He said, "Your timing is horrendous. On the bright side, since you finished ahead of the backing track, that's one less second I have to listen to garbage tone playing boring music." Well, Justin Stagger Myers, this comment actually got you kicked out of Pedalbirds of Durham. Do you know how big of a douchebag you have to be to get kicked out of Pedalbirds of Durham? Getting kicked out of Pedalbirds of Durham is like getting fired from Guitar Center. It's next to impossible, unless you are that level of a douchebag. I'll tell you what, I will post links to Justin Stagger Myers' Facebook page and put them down there in the description for you if anybody would like to go drop by and say hello. Manfred Strupak says, "Subjective opinions define an idiot. A bald fat one, too." Wow, lots of people at the Small Penis Syndrome Club dropping by today. Here's actually a legitimate question from a viewer named Joe D. Says, "Hey, I'm new to guitar. Can you do a video on your thoughts on books to learn from, online teaching, yay or nay?" I'll be honest, man, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask based on that stuff. And, number one, I never learned out of a book. Honestly, the best guitar instruction I got was sitting directly across from an instructor. My name was Vincent Foltz. We're still very good friends today. But with one-on-one interaction. Given current circumstances going on in the world right now, and even, for some people, regardless of those circumstances or not, that's not always possible for everybody. But I'll tell you what, if you're looking for some really, really good online instruction, I would recommend going and checking out Steve Stein's YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I think he has a couple of them now. Just search for Steve Stein. His last name is spelled S-T-I-N-E. I'll tell you what, I'll post links to his channel down in the description. He is a wonderful, just a absolutely fantastic online guitar instructor, and he's a great guitar player. But he's you're not going to see him spend a whole lot of time showing off his own chops. All of his videos are very focused on the topic that he is discussing. I've learned quite a bit from Steve's channel. Steve is a great guitar player, and I'm quite sure that you will find all of the knowledge that you could possibly be in search of by checking him out. This one's from Michael Johnson. It says, skip. Yes, I edit out a lot of uhs and ums and all of that kind of stuff in my speech while I am talking. Thank you very much for kindly pointing that out and making fun of me for it. It means a lot. Even though your next comment after that was you telling me you were just joking and you love the channel and all that bullshit, which is comments like that are still pretty insulting. So. Mike Frankhauser says, "So you're the cork sniffer type. You've been told two BAMs are better and no one's going to change your mind. No amount of evidence will ever change the mind of a snob, just my opinion." Who went on to say, "No sweat hog, I could barely watch this video. I would not torture myself with another." Thank you very much for proving my point. In other words, you have no idea what you're talking about, because there are plenty of solid state amplifiers that I have heralded on this channel over and over again, namely the JC120, several Randall solid state amplifiers, among others. I am not a tube amp snob. I love tube amps. I will always have tube amps. I will always play tube amps, but that doesn't mean that there aren't still plenty of great solid state amplifiers out there. I even did a video on that very subject just a few months ago. In response to the greatest solid state amps ever video, Philip Merrihew says, "Why would anyone be offended when their amp makes the list? You simply show the video to your wife, put your head in your hands, tear up a little, and say, 'I guess the guys were right after all. Presto, new gear.'" Philip, I have one response to your comment. Oh, and my good buddy Mike Minkies from another Facebook group called Unpopular Guitar Opinions. That is the name of the group, Unpopular Guitar Opinions. It's basically a shitpost group. He posted in that group whining and bitching and moaning about how actor Jason Momoa received a free custom shop Fender bass from somebody as a birthday gift. So I called him out on it. And his response was this. So you're moaning about me moaning, how droll. In your case, how drool, go eat a donut. If you just scrolled straight to this particular point in this video, then there's been several other people that I've mentioned this to already. But usually when people have no other thing to say about me calling them out on their crap, and they have to automatically resort to taking shots at my appearance, usually a card-carrying member of the Small Penis Syndrome Club. Placid Casual says, wow, this guy is utterly spellbinding. His charisma is intoxicating and his verbosity unparalleled. He's so engaging. His perspective is as unique and innovative as his presentation. He should really think about getting into social media or sales. Funny you shouldn't mention that. I actually happen to have successful careers in both. Travis Grimes says, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I would like to know this guy's credentials or music education background because I could care less about his opinion on these amps. Right after he just watched a video on, my opinion of the worst solid-state amps ever. First off, I seriously doubt he has any music degree, music engineering degree, or any musical degree. If you listen to him talk, it's all opinionated comments. Nothing of fact. The only time in this video he remotely had some fact as to why the amp sucks was the Spider 1 and 2 amps. Other than that, all he did was say the amp sucked. I am left thinking, why did the other amps suck? Why does not mention anything reasoning as to why the amps suck? As far as I'm concerned, just a guy who was trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. Like I said, I could care less about his factless opinions. Then why did you click on a video that was clearly opinion-based? Didn't care about his feckless opinions. Don't people know not to come to this channel looking for validations for their own gear purchases anymore? This is from William Brotherton, who says, as the former PCB designer at DoD Digitech early days, thanks for the good words, Bill. That was in response to, I believe, the Digitech Screamin' Blues video that I did recently. That was a pedal that I had not given, had never really given a chance to before until I recently fell back in love with its boss competitor, the BD2 Blues Driver. And the Screamin' Blues probably blew me away even more, to be honest. So from the guy that designed, a comment from the guy that designed the piece of music for that pedal, that is very, very flattering. Just check out the video. Thank you, sir. Excellent work. I don't know if you're still working on it or not, but regardless, if you are, I would certainly love to know what you're doing now because that pedal is really interesting. WO2MO8W says, that belly though, what about it? This is a question from Wireline Cables. Says, so the N-King referring to the Bayang Metal N-King, or the Uzi referring to the Joyo Uzi Metal. Yeah. So the Bayang Metal N-King versus the Joyo Uzi, they're both metal distortion pedals, but I think they're kind of two different types of the Bayang, the Metal N-King is really modern sounding, high gain distortion. Versus the Joyo Uzi, which is really more of like a classic metal, high gain, hot rod, depending on what kind of genre of metal, subgenre of metal you play. Hopefully that'll maybe help you get the. Regardless, I think they're both killer distortion. On the greatest distortion pedal ever video, Taylor W comments, man, you have some pretty shit distortions. Those are the greatest. Actually, I've got some really, really nice and really expensive distortion pedals that all sound really, really good. The problem is I ordered to mix that track because anything but an accomplished studio engineer. Me, by the way. So that's it. That's all we have. That's the last comment. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me here today and bash on some trolls, because that's always fun, because that's what we do here on this channel. Please, if you haven't already, consider hitting the like, share, subscribe button. If you're a troll whose comment was featured in this video and you're a little butthurt about it, I don't really care. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.